welcome to How to Stay Married So Far. And I'm going to reveal to you that we already started this once and we started to have an argument because that's how contentious lingerie is. So we decided to start it again and be a little bit more open to each other's discussion. So the other day I put a post up on Instagram taking the piss out of the fact that so many men buy lingerie for women on Valentine's, and I sort of did this thing like, did you get just what you wanted? And it was me sort of looking very awkward and very uncomfortable in various bits and pieces of underwear, and it really seemed to chime with the audience. Lots of women were like, found it very funny. Lots of them were saying, oh God, you know, why do they buy it? Oh, it's so uncomfortable, you know, it digs in your arms, it digs in all this. And so I thought, let's just ask a man, and we've got one here. So we're going to ask him exactly what happens in the process of a man deciding that for a birthday or a Christmas present or a Valentine's that they're going to buy their loved one just the thing that they've always wanted.
Well, what do you think is going on?
Well, I just think usually men just want more sex, so they give you lingerie.
Right, okay. But, I mean...
Am I wrong?
Not entirely.
What other reasons do they buy lingerie?
Well, I was wondering whether something, because as Nadia says, we restarted this conversation. I thought something you said that was quite interesting was you were asking or thinking or wondering whether what men are after in buying it is a more idealized version of you, the person it's bought for, as kind of illustrated in the sort of, I didn't realize they had catalogues in these boxes of stuff, you know, where you see lots of people wearing them.
You open up the box, it's all beautiful, it's all tissue paper, and then the top, it's a little brochure. I remember the first time I got it, and I'd always wanted something from it. I just want to look provocateur. It's like suspicious women get that. And then you look at this catalogue, and it literally is the bodies of 16-year-olds in these incredibly beautiful works of art, pieces of lingerie. And you open it and you think, my God, my bum's going to swallow that up. Or I'm going to lose that in my folds of my stomach. This poor man is going to be devastated when he's seen it there, and then he's going to see me in it. And that was always what went through my head.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I mean, when I have bought you quite a bit over the years, and it almost got to the point where it would almost, you know how in couples, couples often get to a point where there's a sort of, what's the word? There's a regular present at Christmas that you start to buy each other. Like you expect you get nice smellies, and you know that's coming, or you get, you know, stupid socks, you know that's coming. And there was a point way back, and we've been together 20 years now. So there was a point way back there where probably for about 6 or 7 years, each year I'd get you something which was a bit, you know, saucy. When I used to get you that stuff, I remember, I'll just share this one story. I remember going to a particular shop in London, not being able to decide on what I wanted to get. And I have to confess, I was like a kid in a sweetie shop. And the reason I'm saying that wasn't because of the women in there, wasn't because actually one of the shop assistants said, I will put this on and try it on, and you can make a decision as to whether you think this is right. And I was like, oh my God, please, no, you absolutely don't. And she was like, so kind of, no, I'm going to go and do it. And she did it. She went into the change room, came out, and I'm goggle-eyed and going, oh, you know, of course.
So not only have I got the brochure, he's seen the bird in Agent Provocateur wearing it.
Yeah, and so she was asking what size you were and all this kind of stuff. I was absolutely out of my league.
What did you say? 4 times the size of you?
No, I said she's medium. I think all men say medium.
Oh God, that's why nothing ever fucking fits. That's why we're all in agony, because most of us are not a bloody medium. And in Agent Provocateur, a medium is going to be like an XXS.
But isn't it sweet? It comes from a place of you're sort of like, I don't want to embarrass her.
It might feel sweet, but I would have preferred an extra large, so it wasn't all bursting out.
Well, then she said to me, do you want to find out how we unclasp everything? And no, I'm joking. No, she didn't. So anyway, so for a number of years, I got those. And if I'm really honest, when I look back, I was in no way getting it for you because, I mean, I've got a list here of 15 things that go through a woman's head when, excuse that phrase, but when lingerie is bought for them, questions that are asked. And I think they're quite funny because I'd like to ask you. It certainly wasn't from the perspective of, that old-fashioned idea of you've been together a long time, you start to buy the stuff to get things excited again in the bedroom and all that kind of stuff. It was actually coming from a place of amplifying, for me, something that I felt we already had, because I was very attracted to you. I found you incredibly saucy in your own way. I'm going to use that so we don't have to use the apple crumble emergency word for anyone who hasn't heard our podcast before. She says apple crumble, I have to steer
When I want him
away.
to stop.
Yeah, so
It's my safe word.
I found, for want of a better expression, I found you erotic anyway. And so for me, this was just an accompaniment. I just thought it was just something that would actually make you feel nice too. It would look nice, it would be fun, but it certainly wasn't about needing to kind of help me up to a new level of whatever. And I think that's the kind of rather traditional sense of why lingerie is bought, isn't it? Is that in a sense.
I think the traditional sense is men want more sex, so they get.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But usually it comes at a point. Well, I suppose it doesn't. It comes early, doesn't it? I mean, I think.
Because okay.
That's why I bought it over
Right.
those years.
Okay, what it feels
Might be
like.
different now.
I think almost if you go to one extreme of it, it can almost feel like the most demanding thing.
Yeah,
that
can well
possibly happen.
imagine. Yeah.
And I don't think men are always being, in any way. Not there will be some, but I think men just misread it. So they might, for instance, it might be the scenario where the husband quite nicely thinks, or the partner, or whichever, thinks, oh, God, she's feeling really unsexy, she's just had the baby, just finished breastfeeding, she's working really hard, she's cooking the dinner and her hair's smelling of chip fat. I'm going to help her feel as sexy as I find her again, so I'm going to get her this sexy underwear. Well, that's totally devastating, because if you're feeling all those things and then you're given sexy underwear, all you hear is, he thinks I'm not sexy anymore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make you think he finds you sexy. It leaves you feeling you're not, that he thinks you're not. Not everyone at all. Myself and lots of other women I've spoken to. Because when you're feeling insecure and somebody gives you sexy underwear, it feels like they're saying you're not sexy enough for me, so I need to spice things up.
So is that what you felt?
Well, at various points, yeah. Also, when I think, like, when it's made out like a big birthday present or a big Christmas present, it's a bit like Valentine's, isn't it? People will say they have the worst sex of their lives usually on Valentine's because there's all this pressure. So it's like, if you've lost that communication and your sex life has decreased because of it, and then somebody gets you a really sexy box of lingerie, it's kind of saying you've got to have sex. That's how it comes across. Spent this money, you've gone out, you've thought about this, and what else is going to happen except you've got to put it on and you've got to have sex. So what it does is it puts on enormous pressure. It's a disaster. It's a total disaster. The only time this works is when two people are getting on and they are in the giggly, saucy time of their relationship, because you get those ebbs and flows. But if there is any problem with the relationship, my personal opinion is the very worst present to get is a set of lingerie. So if we take that scenario again, somebody's not feeling so sexy, maybe they're putting a bit of weight, they've had a kid, whatever, they're overworking. The sexy thing to do would be to do something much more relatable to where they are. To just, I know they've got the same old dirty dressing gown on and go, wow, this dressing gown doesn't change anything, I still find you really sexy, nuzzle into the neck, is going to be like an acceptance of you, and is going to make you feel so much more wanted. You're going to feel wanted and desired no matter what. Whereas the lingerie can sometimes come across as, I'm having to do this because I'm having so much trouble desiring you. And I think what can happen with that is, those two people might not be thinking those things at all. Again, it's that thing of misreading it. That husband, like you said, goes, oh, well, I love her anyway, and I fancy her anyway, and this is that. But if you're feeling all those other things and you're feeling insecure, you're not going to read it in that way.
But okay. Going from what you've just said, so I've just said that I bought it to amplify, but I think there's probably been an occasion, certainly in the sort of wilderness years of the menopause, where I think I possibly did buy something, and there was baked into that thought,
Yeah,
the ability,
which is okay.
the potential and the ability maybe to certainly not put pressure on. You know, I get that, and I can see how, and I can also think of many men I've known who, for them, it is a case of, oh, I've got her a bit of a, what they call their sort of something suit, or, you know, I've got them something, and you never know, it might make a. And I remember being in the pub or wherever with the black saying, well, it doesn't necessarily work like that, does it? I mean, she can't just buy her it and suddenly she feels.
Yeah.
But let me just finish. But I do sometimes wonder whether, quite innocently, men who perhaps for whatever reasons aren't, you know, massively emotionally rehabilitated, plugged into all of the nuance of gender equality, feminist politics, etc., and I'm not saying that in that way because it's laboursome, it's a lot, and I think sometimes we're unrealistic to think that all men are across all of that. I think sometimes it will be bought as a way to sort of say, I think our sex life is in trouble.
100%. And without any
it's an inarticulate way, it's an
Absolutely.
inarticulate and clumsy way of doing it, but actually they don't know how else to.
Absolutely. You and many, many others won't have done it, go, right, this will put pressure on, she'll have to, not at all. What I'm saying is, for any person that's bought lingerie for somebody, this might just be interesting to just hear what the echo can be in the head of the person that you're buying it for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is not, I wouldn't be with you if I thought you were somebody that thought you could just put pressure on me and then I would have sex. I would just hate anyone like that. What I mean is just you can just not know. So I'm giving that information out in case somebody goes, oh right, is that the other way that they can think about it? Because that's not my intention. What's your intention? But the intention is like a self-harming thing for me. What I would have gone in the bad years, oh my God, I'm just so disgusting. I feel disgusting. I don't feel sexy at all. And now I've got to pretend I feel sexy in this contraption that is a medium when I'm an extra large. I'm not going to be able to breathe in it. I'm not going to be able to get the second hook up, let alone the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th.
Well, as you said in your post, though, and lots of it still had labels on, so you obviously haven't worn the vast majority of it. I mean, isn't it funny?
A lot of it's too small.
Is that because of the size?
Yeah, tiny. I mean, tiny.
But you see, what's interesting is, as a man who can't think of many, experiences of intimacy sort of, I don't know if it's the same for women, blur into a mulch of whatever. But isn't it funny that I can vividly remember the few occasions you have? Vividly.
Right. Okay, apple crumble.
No, I'm not saying any more. No, I'm not saying any more than that. But I tell you what really makes me confused, and I think, again, this is the whole point of this is to actually access male and female differences. There are really sort of confused signals sent out in society. For example, I've got two examples. 50 Shades of Grey, whatever you think of the film, crock of shit and all that kind of stuff. But boy, did it light a fuse. Boy, did it resonate for an enormous amount of women. And within that, there's all sorts of other stuff. It's not just lingerie and sort of what you wear. It was behaviour. It was, chained up, handcuffs. I mean, it always shocks me. Always shocks me on Love Island how they have all that kind of handcuffs. If you think about it, it's really weird, isn't it? When you think about the gender politics of handcuffs, it's just weird. Anyway, I've never been into that, but that would suggest to men that there is an appetite for this kind of thing, and there is an appetite for a frisson and an excitement and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But there's very little you can buy a man to make that happen. There's not lingerie choices for men.
Well, I always say lingerie should be bought by women for men. That's my thing.
Right.
It's like, don't buy it for me for my birthday. I'll buy it for your birthday, because then I'm feeling in a better place. And I have done that in the past for you.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about that, and I want to get back to that, is, well, in a sense, maybe it feeds into this idea. Anne Summers,
because it is more a present for you than it is for me. When I'm feeling fat.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I get that. But going back to the Anne Summers thing, where I think a lot of men hear a lot of women talk very sort of jovially about Anne Summers and Anne Summers parties, and Anne Summers is very popular and all this. And again, I think that sends out a confusing signal to men, which is like, it wouldn't be this popular. There wouldn't be Anne Summers parties. Women wouldn't giggle sort of in that way when they get together and about, I don't know, sex toys and all this kind of stuff, if there wasn't an appetite for this. So then men confusedly translate that into buying stuff that they think will resonate. And I think what you just said, which is really interesting, is let the women buy the gear for whatever it is that you're wanting to happen. And isn't it interesting? I think probably what informs men is the gear that men order is about, how do you put this politically correctly? It's about being a bit more, not grubby, but a bit more dirty, naughty. Whereas women will choose something that they feel lovely in and they look classy in and they go,
Not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. But I would say, I would hazard a guess that the reason, what are those little sort of skimpy things, jumpsuits, bunny, I don't know what they're called. But I wonder whether what the problem with is not the buying of the underwear, but it's what the lingerie is like.
Can I just, because you've just done lots of different things there,
sorry.
Sorry. Because along the lines of it's confusing for people because it seems like lots of people do like it. Lots and lots of women love it. I'm not talking about those women, and I would hate for any woman to be sitting there and going, well, don't talk for me, because I love having lingerie and I love it when my fellow buys it. Because we're sort of parking that group of people because they're probably not even going to listen to this. This is more about the complex thinking that goes on around a gift like that. That if you are somebody, if you're a bit like me and you're listening to this because you're a bit like me, it was never just an easy thing. Now, all of that actually isn't to do with sexual politics, actually. All of it for me was to do with my body and me really have been so dysmorphic all my life that to have something that was going to highlight that dysmorphia and was going to put it even more on show was very painful for me. And if I hadn't have had that dysmorphia, I think it's great. And now that I'm older and wiser and I'm nowhere near as dysmorphic as I was, I actually do find them quite, I've still got a huge problem with them all being way too fucking small. I mean, they are uncomfortable. They do ping off. It's like, but I now know that all of that is part of all of who I am. So I know that when you give me it now, it's not about you wanting me to be somebody else. It's about you giving it to me, Nadia, who you love, Nadia, who you fancy. But that's been a journey for me. That didn't just happen. Probably if I'd always been, a skipping size 8, I would like, oh yeah, I'm going to look fantastic. Great. I'm going to leap around looking fantastic. I'm sure you would feel the same if I suddenly bought you, I don't know, some really tight something or other with like a really tight fitted tank top with no arms, and you said to me,
like an absolute dick.
No, right, okay. Hold that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now that isn't what I like, but imagine if it was, and I found that sexy, right? Just let me finish. And I found that sexy, and I'd just seen it in a film, and it was like you had this really very thin tank top thing, this tight. Oh yeah, I got that because I find this really. You'll look great in it, and I hand it to you in a box. You've got to open it up to. What are you going to think and feel? I bet Mark is not going to be that different from what I'm going to feel when I'm handed something.
Well, no, I think it's really good that you say that because, firstly, if I rack my brain, I can't think of what the equivalents are for men to wear. Though when you walk past a certain shop in Soho, you can see what men can wear.
Well, but the equivalent could be me saying, like I do sometimes, I love those tops you used to wear the polo. You go, no, because I look, those ones I was saying to you the other day, and you immediately went, because you're dysmorphic as well, you went, oh no, I look awful in those. And I think, well, I never thought you look awful in them. I always think you look lovely in them. Yeah, but I heard what you were saying, so I didn't say it again because I know that feeling.
Whereas so what you're saying is in a weird way, even though I'd said I felt uncomfortable in that, some men are not going to think about that and they're still going to buy another one of those tops. And then you're like, shitting out, they know how I feel about it. No, okay, well, going back to what I said, I literally can't think of what you can buy, man. I think of those stupid sort of butler suits or whatever.
Okay, well, I want you to wear a G-string.
Yeah, oh, God.
Because I love G-strings. Yeah. And I want to, I hate G-strings. But
can we clip that for Instagram?
I would love it if you wore budgie smugglers round by the pool. Because I think they're so sexy.
Yeah, but...
No. I've given you a box of budgie smugglers. I love them on men.
Yeah, I would feel exactly the same.
All my old boyfriends used to wear budgie smugglers.
I would feel, well, yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm ever saying when I buy you stuff, all my old girlfriends.
Yeah, but when people go, oh, I love lingerie, it's like you think, oh, well, where did you love lingerie? Who loved
No, I agree, entirely the same, and I think you're absolutely right. I think for men, it would be identical if societally and socially. I mean, I wonder whether in gay couples, male gay couples, there are similar pressures and similar issues. Maybe there are. I mean, sometimes I think nudity as well is a weird thing. I mean, another part of it is that you can't escape the fact, and I always remember my English teacher, weirdly, showing us an image of a woman who was naked. It wasn't explicit, she was kind of on the side and she was completely naked. And then he showed us a photograph. We were all very young boys and incredibly, hormonal. And then he showed us an image of the same woman lying with, something just draped over her. And it always stuck with me because I thought it was a really important lesson that he was showing us was the one with the drapery was infinitely sexier than the one which was just, naked. I do think innocently there is an aspect in that of enjoying the conceal. I mean, I'm trying to get into the sort of almost the DNA of what's going on here. I know you're talking socially and in terms of the politics of a relationship, but I think sometimes men find that inherently more erotic than necessarily women do.
This is about it being erotic. I mean, whatever it is your tickles your fancy, whether it's bright red,
I've been trying to get that word
bright red itchy lace, or whether it's
feathers.
hundreds of pounds worth that you've flown to Paris to buy it for. It's all about it being more erotic. Yeah. It's all about spicing up.
See, but
I don't care what anyone says. That's what it's about, and there's no shame in that.
No.
That's a good thing. But it's about just sometimes not running away with what is working completely for you without picking up what the social cues might be there. I'm really interested if there's how this works in a gay relationship between two women. Is there much more understanding? Is it always something that they buy together, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear them. Can I read out some of the
just before we
comments?
do, let me ask you a quick question. So, given where we are at in our relationship now, if I was to buy you something now that was the right size, what would you read into that? What would you read into that, and how would you receive it now, where you're at?
Well, if it was the right size. And if you didn't give it to me the same day we'd had an argument, and if you gave it, because it's timing as well, if you could be such a kid sometimes, right? You walk in with the present. It got me like when I'm having an argument, I'll actually say to you, don't I? I'll say, well, I don't want it now, because I can't just take something. It has to be felt between two people. It's a bit like when men turn up with flowers after an argument, isn't it? It's just like, don't do it, guys. We don't like it. We like it when things are good. And I suppose it's So now, I mean, of course I'm still fucked up. Yeah. But I'm nowhere near as fucked up as I was. Right. And I think you know the risks and dangers of what I look like. So if you are in any way delusional now, then you need help.
Do you think the very act of buying the wrong size suggests, because it wasn't why I did, but do you think
you were scared to buy large?
Well, no, but I was out of respect I didn't want you to be upset or to feel I don't know, it came from a good place, to be honest.
Of course,
but I wondered,
came from a frightened place.
Yeah, it came from a petrified place, actually. But do you think the fact that a lot of the stuff came smaller made you, sort of double down on that idea that you thought that he's after a different idealized version of me here, or he's after something else?
No, I thought, oh, bless him, he's just looking at me through rose-tinted glasses. Right. He thinks this is going to go over my ass.
Right. It's funny, isn't it? Because I'm not actually I'm just going to run through, just for those of you who are, I don't know, men and women who really like this stuff. Nipple tassels never done it for me. Whips and feathers and boas and all that.
Well, how did we leapfrog?
No, because the reason I'm doing this is it's quite curious how much.
It's good to set it up.
How much? Well, I did. I just said how many of the accoutrements of this stuff are actually really naff. I mean, suspended.
But I think.
But maybe the naffness is what it's about.
I think sometimes naff things can be really sexy. I don't think, for me, it's not only like silk bought from Paris. It's like, if it's all about frame of mind. It's all about your frame of mind. We could wax lyrical about this forever, but at the end of the day, anything can be sexy if you're in the right frame of mind, and anything could be a massive turn off if you're not in the right frame of mind. So it is a very, very difficult fine line to walk, just like the whole of marriage is.
I don't know why, but right now I feel like an infant, and I feel like you're sitting there going, this is the way it is, and that is the way it is, and that I was perhaps a little bit stupid to have done any of it. I mean,
no, you weren't stupid. No, you weren't stupid. No, listen, it's like I say.
Is it?
You know, the ebbs and flows of marriage are there, and I do think where you were really stupid and where you went into the wilderness for a long time was you just would not find out anything about the menopause. You didn't Google a single thing. And I remember once me saying to you, God, you just don't understand anything about the menopause, do you? And you went, well, tell me. And I went, look it up.
Okay. Well,
so that's another tip there. If somebody's of that sort of age and things are going, just research it a bit and then think about how maybe you'll just change approaches. And again, if somebody's just had a child, or if somebody's got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, things are not going to be the same, and you have to adjust to that. And by trying to say to your partner, right, I'm going to put, and it could be with all the best intentions, I'm going to try and take us back to where we were.
Yeah.
How we hear that is, I've got to go back to what I was, and I can't, because I can't even remember what I was, because now I've got this baby hanging off this thing. I've got this one like fish fingers and chips, and I don't know how to be that one that I was.
So what you're saying is when things go tits up, they won't go tits up.
I would say get cozier and cuddlier, and then it will move back into
and then
raunch. But you
raunch.
can't go from that to raunch.
Okay.
Again, not for all women. Some women, it's like straight away after they have a baby, they're straight back on the horse, so to speak.
Just for the sake of clarity, I really, really like those shorts, you know, the kind of soft, kind of almost pajama-y short, you know, the sort of, what are they called? Not hot pants, but they're kind of loose.
Hot.
No, they're not.
I mean,
they're not. They're those loose kind of things that you wear into bed. They're really nice. They're sort of short. And
the ones I've got.
And it has a comment on the back. I like.
He's talking about a very particular pair of pants that he bought me.
They're my favourite, and they're not the conventional thing.
But they are the only one of those that you've bought. Everything else is.
Yeah, no, I know.
Full on. I mean,
well, because
don't get me wrong.
I kept hoping.
Every single thing you've ever bought me has been absolutely beautiful.
Right.
I have never gone, oh, that's disgusting. Never. I've turned it disgusting onto me. It's never been what you've bought me. The timing might have been out. You know, I might have been needing something really different from you, but there's no way you knew that. You didn't do any of that with intention. And the only reason I'm saying all these things is just because whenever we do these podcasts, I'm thinking, what if somebody listens to this and goes, oh, could that be a thing? And then somebody communicates a bit better, and then somebody gets on a bit better, or has a nice evening, or has better sex, or whatever. That's the only reason I'm saying it. I'm not saying any of it with any sort of judgment or anger or anything to you, because your intentions are always good. And you fancy me, and you know, for a long while back there, it was very difficult.
On that note, why did you say apple crumble again? Oh, apple crumble. Just a shout out to the lady I met in the post office who said she loves these podcasts for precisely what you just said.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I forgot when I did a call out for these messages to say if people wanted to be anonymous or not. So I'm just going to make them all anonymous.
Yeah, good idea. What did you ask?
I asked just to tell me how they feel, what they think. Do they love it? Who loves it? Who hates it? Why they think they give it to them? You know, just like a whole load of questions about lingerie. So this lady says, I don't wear it because I think I look like a sack of potatoes in anything tight and lacy. Now, her partner might read it as, the reason she doesn't put that on is because she doesn't want to have sex with me, she doesn't fancy me. Yeah. So it's that lack of communication again. Another one about it being small. I just wish I could find pretty stuff to fit my 32G boobies. This woman says my partner prefers none on at all.
I like that too.
This one makes me laugh. A lot of effort. It just gets ripped off anyway. I just get naked and get on with it. Somebody else couldn't be asked. Somebody else, I love it. No, thank you. Not comfy at all. Awful. Next one, I love it. I buy it for me. Fantastic.
Oh, that's our dog, by the way, drinking in the background.
I feel so unsexy in it. Another person, I hate it. I just feel so self-conscious. I only like it if it's meant for me and only for me. God, do some people give it to you and then take it back for somebody else?
Well, no, I guess it goes back to your thing of, are you buying it for the imaginary you? Is it being bought for you?
Are you buying it for me and who
Yeah.
I am with all my warts and all?
Right.
Look
Not
at this.
warts.
My time and place. My time has been and gone. Oh, it must be for somebody older. Which makes us think, when you still can, then maybe we should.
Is there a point where you can't? I mean, I guess when you get old together, you don't see it, do you? I mean, I was looking at a photo of you. Isn't it funny as well? I was looking at a photo of you that I found yesterday where you're lying beside a pool in Italy. And my God, crikey.
That's my watermelon bikini.
Beautiful. And erotic, but that wasn't, stuff.
That was our worst time that time. It was so badly.
Well, look.
I hated you, you hated me. He buys it so
Still
he can get
wanted
his... Look, he buys it so he can get his leg over at any opportunity. At my age, not interested at all, 64. And then just a few more, got so many. It's so uncomfortable. I prefer gym bras. Wish they would make them sexier. Oh, I hear you. Men think black or red women more sophisticated, i.e. charcoal, grey, soft navy, lilac or taupe.
Christ, you're right. We don't stand there with a kind of Farrow and Ball paint chart thinking, I wonder if this... You do
I saw this one. Oh, it's a big turn on. Then I realised it's a bloke.
Right.
Sent my... Oh, sorry. Oh, look, this woman says only women should buy it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hate it. Another person, can't be bothered. It's so uncomfortable. All ends up on the floor anyway. Another one, it's a gift for themselves, not for us. And why always so small?
Isn't it interesting? So the size thing, can I ask, has it ever amplified your enjoyment of intimacy? Is there ever a situation where it can make you feel sexier?
Of course.
As a woman?
Just one more, do. What he thinks I like is never what I do like. And then I feel so awkward and embarrassed wearing it.
Wow.
Maybe when men go wrong with this is that they surprise people.
Right.
Maybe it should be, let's go and buy something.
That's quite a frisson. That's a lovely idea. Why don't we do that next week, Nat? Why don't we do that this weekend?
You're going to go tonight.
Fantastic. Well, before we wrap up, can I just share with you?
Can I just do one more?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not the skinniest, so I feel embarrassed in them. My ex got OnlyFans, so it's impacted on me. So he's looking at things.
Oh.
The thing is, there's a lot of people now on Instagram that are really big and like chunky and they wear all this underwear, and that's had a massive impact on me. Because before, as women, we never saw women like us in lingerie. It's always very slim women. And sometimes I think almost too almost robotic. They're like mannequins. But actually, I've actually found it very sexy seeing these bigger women just owning it and wearing it. And that's helped me enormously. So what I would say is, if you follow any Instagram accounts that make you feel worse about yourself, unfollow them and look for those people that are more like you.
But you just said something that's really interesting, because I don't have any illusions about your body, your shape, I know all of the issues you've had with yourself. I know what parts of you you're more self-conscious of and all that kind of stuff. I find you more attractive and sexier as you get older. I find myself more and more attracted to you.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because I find myself more attractive than I ever used to, because I allow myself.
So one of the things I think that's an important component in buying all this stuff is the attitude of the woman wearing it. And so that in itself is incredibly intoxicating and mesmerizing. Less if it fits you, less if it's the right thing for you. But if you're standing there in it, empowered and confidently, it's a huge turn on.
Listen, the sexiest thing in the world, like, it all gets confused when people say, oh, why do girls like bad boys? And like, when they're younger girls, they think it's a bad boy, but what they're actually talking about is confidence. Confidence is very attractive. It really is. And when I look at old pictures of myself and I see myself got one on my Instagram at the moment that Carol McGiffin gave me from 25 years ago, and I'm standing like this, like on the beach, looking so sad and looking so
beautiful,
like scared of anyone seeing me. It's very unattractive. It is. Whereas if somebody's just standing there as themselves and say, "This is what I am," not even necessarily just body, just personality. This is what I am, you know, flawed and all, trying my best. That's lovely.
So are you saying, presumably it's the same vice versa, so next time I come into the bedroom I need to stand at the doorway with my hands on my hips and just looking like a superhero?
No,
and the more confident I am, the more attractive I'll be?
No, because
Okay.
I would know that you were going through a million places of hell to be there.
So how can I be confident in a way that's authentic?
No, it's not. I don't want you to be confident standing naked.
No,
When you're confident in your life, that's the most, I think, attractive thing.
Oh, is that what you find attractive about me?
Well, when you are really confident, I love it.
Oh, there we go. Well, I'm going to confidently go on to this next section, which very quickly. This is a piece published in Australia about every single thought that occurs to a woman when a partner buys them lingerie. The first thought is, he got me a gift for no reason. Or did he? i.e. you are the gift. I think they're being sarcastic there. One of the questions is, wait, I feel like this is more of a gift for him than it is for me. And there is definitely a reason. I think that's something you've kind of said. Very rarely and occasionally there's a moment where you go, I quite like this. This is interesting, going back to what happened to me when I was shopping for you. Question, did he have help picking this out?
I've never thought that.
Never thought that.
I mean, the funny thing is, just a little something there, like, what do you think when you get it? It's like, the other thing is, we are so messy. Both of us have ADHD and both of us, our place is a tip. Our bedroom is just like the most unexpected place.
Her size worse than mine.
And so sometimes, watch yourself,
there's a
might
copy
out you.
There's a copy of The Guardian, that's it.
And so I'd be like, oh my God, you
And
know,
Razzle.
I wish I could be that sort of woman that's got this, you know, she pulls open her silent drawer and all her underwear is
lovely.
in there, and just like, and so it was as much about that not being my personality at all. That it's like, oh my God, he wants that sort of girl that's like, just like
I don't. I want
casually got lingerie on.
No, I
and
want
hasn't
smashed up.
Hasn't had to basically go upstairs and spend 3 hours working out.
No, I like smashed up, decrepit, messy,
Plants.
smashing through the door with a fag in your mouth.
Tracy Emin he loved before he met me, and then he found the real Tracy Emin. He must have come in and gone, oh my God, I could make a fortune selling this bed.
Oh, I see. God, I wondered what the hell you meant.
Tracy's got nothing on my bed.
No, your bed is infinitely better.
much better now.
Yeah. How the heck do I put this on is the first thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, tick.
This one's an interesting one. Do I model it for him? Not even have sex with them in it, but do I model it for him?
Yeah, and no, in that it means, am I now expected to come out confidently and brazenly and walk up and down? Everybody thinks that.
Do they?
Yes.
Well, on the day
because
that you get
they
it?
think that's what they want.
Because you've never done that. I haven't seen it. If I've bought you something, it hasn't emerged.
I try
Until I
to
saw it on
never
Instagram.
do something that I don't want to do. That's kind of like a rule in my head, because I don't want to be fake. Like, I don't believe in faking orgasms. I don't believe in any of that. I just don't believe in it.
Okay.
No, I have. You've just forgotten. I have one. Lots.
Should I save it for a special occasion? What is a special occasion? If we break up, do I get to keep it?
You are joking. Anybody
These are
thinks
big-
that.
But would you want to keep it? Given
Hang
it's
on,
been
it
bought?
wouldn't occur to me to even think of it. If I'm breaking up, I'm not going to go, and that underwear.
No, but when you
I might if
get
I've
to
got
it.
a diamond ring.
No, but
I'm
if
not-
you've moved on to another relationship, do you get out the gear that he's bought you?
Oh no, I wouldn't wear gear that I've worn with somebody else.
There you go. I think that's the point.
But I wouldn't question whether I've got to give it to him. I just chuck
Next
it.
question. Does this mean he's tired of our sex life?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, right, okay. Never mind, I look amazing in this. I would do me. As in, I'd have sex with myself. Is this because I took him to see 50 Shades Freed? There is that thing of titillation elsewhere, and perhaps that kind of, again, that's erotica,
Because
isn't
again,
it?
saying that there's plenty of people women that will find this erotic and desperately even hope maybe that their husband would buy them sex. Lots of women. We were, so please don't think we don't know that, because we do.
And on that note, maybe I'll get him a gift too. I mean, the choices though, jock straps, all that kind of thing. Do guys like lingerie for guys? What about if I wore your lingerie?
No, I don't think she means that. She means the lingerie is for him, not for her.
And then finally, could you have the thought, which some do, oh, okay, seriously, this is super sweet and a sexy gesture?
Yes, that's what I would think now with all my work on myself, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I'm going to pop down to Agent Provocateur this afternoon, and then
I was going to say, as to...
Well, I might go to Lidl. I must admit, I do every now and then go for a little sort of, I redirect myself through the laundry department of Sainsbury's sometimes. I didn't realise they sold it. But I do think we should definitely go shopping together.
Yeah.
I think that would in itself be quite sexy.
Well, last little bit of advice. If your partner is on the larger side, say that when you go into the shop, or even look up online lingerie for the larger lady, because if you're going to come in with something that she knows she can only dental floss her teeth with because it's going to get lost, then that's not going to get you or her in a place of
arousal.
Yeah. So, work with your partner's body, whatever her body is.
Well, that's definitely the intention, isn't it, by the end of the night?
And if somebody's incredibly self-conscious, get them something really pretty, maybe a bit see-through, that isn't like totally uncovered of everything. So, and then you can work, and then as she might feel more, as it might go well, and you might feel more confident, you could then move on to, sexier stuff.
And also, I would fully recommend, guys...
Well, no, that is sexy. I don't mean sexier stuff, but more revealing stuff, if that's what you find you both want.
I'd also recommend for guys and women, same sex as well, if you are going to buy stuff, but you kind of sense that you're probably going to be, I don't know, tearing it apart with your teeth and sort of firing it across rooms, get it cheaply. Yeah, you don't want to be getting high-class stuff and then destroying it that night.
When I do my Kim Kardashian stuff, I get my stuff from Amazon, and oh my God, it's so cheap. It's really good.
Yeah. But
anyway, this isn't an ad.
But do you remember that time we got the string vest thing and it fired out the window when I pulled it off?
We loved that. That was so fun.
Literally, it landed in the garden.
I quite liked that thing.
That was nice. You looked great. So there you go, guys. There you go. Tell us what you think. Subscribe if you enjoyed that vaguely at all, and tell us where you buy your lingerie.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you're listening on podcast, you can head over to YouTube and watch it instead. And also over on YouTube, we have so much content we are creating every day. We have travel series, we have our reality series, we have cooking shows, we have daily coffee moaning, where it's current affairs and lots of fun, movie reviews, TV reviews, trailer reactions, gardening films. It's free. You're missing out if you haven't checked it out. When you get there, hit the subscribe button, doesn't cost you anything. Hit the notification bell, doesn't cost you anything. And then you can always be notified when we're going live.
And for those of you listening, just in case you're wondering, Nadia is simply wearing nipple tassels right now. So you might want to head over to YouTube and just check it out.
I'm sweeping the floor with them at the same time as doing this podcast.